Are you new to ERLC? Do you want to get better in private servers? Do you want to just learn how to generally be a police officer? I think this video is for you. Whether you're a beginner or you're advanced, I will be teaching you some of my things that I do to help me in my patrols. Quick disclaimer though, I am not perfect at being a police officer whatsoever, but I get so many comments asking, how do you do this? How do you do that? What does this mean? What does that mean? So I'm going to be teaching you all in today's video. Step one is to choose the team you want. So I personally like sheriff. You guys can choose police officer. It really doesn't matter. It's all going to the same, XP. Though there is jurisdiction. So if you do want to stick to a jurisdiction, you might want to choose a different team. That brings us to our first step, which is jurisdiction. So if you head up to the map, I can show you what the jurisdiction is. So if you are a sheriff, everything here is your jurisdiction. And this little triangle that I'm following with my mouse is pretty much your jurisdiction. You could even have High Rock in the jail. If you are a police officer, this whole city and this whole suburb is yours. Now, these are obviously unofficial because sheriffs technically have the rights to patrol in cities. You just don't see it often. But I mean, it's up to you if you want to follow jurisdiction. This is ERLC at the end of the day. I'm just showing you, if you don't know what jurisdiction is, well, now you know. Step number 2 is how to gear up properly. Now, there are so many gears in the game, so we're going to show you how to do this properly. So once you head up to here, choose your uniform. You're going to want to go with one of these 3. I don't think detective or SWAT is going to be needed, especially if you're just trying to patrol. So you just want to grab a uniform, grab a cool uniform. You want to grab a weapon. Okay, and then that should be it, unless you want gear. So if you head over to the gear, I would recommend getting at least taser. Okay, none of these are needed besides a taser. Unless you're actually role playing, you can get some spike strips. You can get pepper spray, and I don't think anything else is needed here because most things are detectives anyways. And yeah, so maybe get some cones, maybe get a baton. But that's really all you need for gear. Step number 4 is actually choosing the right vehicle for you. So if you want to go patrol in the county, or even you want to just have a moderate car that, all police officers use, I'd recommend getting one of these Explorers. So there's a 2021, there's a 2019 one, there's even a 2013 one, which honestly, I don't, it's not my favorite. So I'd recommend getting the 2019 one, to be honest with you. There really is no difference to it, but I mean, it's an all-around good vehicle. Now, if you want to be fancy, you could get one of these Dodge Chargers. You can even get the Crown Vic. This is the starter car. Honestly, I like Crown Vics, so nothing wrong if you use them. You can get a Tahoe. You can get a truck. All these options are good. But if you really want to be a moderate, police officer, if you're role-playing in private servers, I'd recommend you get something like an Explorer or a Charger, something like that. If you're role-playing in a public server and you want to grind out arrests, you might want to get a faster type of vehicle, maybe a sports car. I'm not sure. It's honestly, cars are up to you, but I recommend some more than others. One thing I do recommend to learn is the police 10 codes. Now, if you don't know what the 10 codes are, they are codes to help communicate with dispatch. Like, for example, if I say, dispatch, my unit number, show me on a 1011, that means I'm on a traffic stop. Now, I have a list of the basics, the bare basics. Keep in mind, these are not all official, so don't take my word for it, but they are the bare minimum basics. All right, like I said, don't take my word for it, but as you can see, 10-8 means on duty. I think that's generic for all police departments. Every single police department and sheriff's office probably uses different 10 codes, like different. But these are just the generic ones you would see if you are in ERLC. Maybe they are different. Just don't take my word for it. But these are the ones you should use in general servers because these are the ones I use, and I don't have a problem with it. 1011 means traffic stop. Now, this one is very different because in all police departments, this one does not mean traffic stop. But in general ERLC servers, you should have no problem using 1011 for traffic stop. 10-7 means out of service. So if you're going off duty, use 10-7. If you're busy, I don't know what you would be doing, but if you are busy, make sure to use 10-6. And then 1023 means on scene. So if you say dispatch, show me 1023, give them a location, something like that, you'd be like on scene. Sorry I don't have any more 10 codes for you guys. I just wanted to show you guys the basics. The basics on what I use and how I use them. Code 1 means respond with no lights and sirens. So if dispatch tells you to respond code 1, you just drive to the situation or place that you're driving to. Normally, no cutting on sirens, no cutting stop signs, no running red lights, stuff like that. Code 2 is just respond with your lights and sirens. You can break a little bit of traffic laws. No hustle to get there though, but you are using your lights so that people will get out of the way. Now, code 3 is full response, full emergency response. Respond with your full entire lights and sirens. Get there as fast as you can. Usually code 3 is not used too much unless there's like a shooting or like a robbery, something like that. But ERLC, you probably will be responding code 3 a lot just because it's ERLC. I would say if you are going into the roleplay aspect of ERLC, make sure you guys use these 10 codes, or at least attempt to, especially if you're talking in the radio. You need to communicate with your dispatch at all times so that they know you, and if you have a partner, your partner is safe. It's just for general communication, and it's always good, if you need some backup, you want to request some backup. If you do want to request backup, I believe it's 1032, but then again, 1032, it's always different for every department. So once again, don't take my word on it. But I hope this does help you guys, because I know a lot of you asked me in the comments, what are the 10 codes? How do you know what to say in the radio? So, here you go. So the next thing that's asked quite often is, how do I view body cams? How do you do body cams? And like, where do you go? And how do you even get body cam? So body cams released in ERLC this year, or last year in 2023. All you have to do is go to the dispatch room, the one that says dispatch. This could be found in the sheriff's office as well, but I'm in the police station right now. All you have to do is literally sit down, and you have the option to do body cams or traffic cams. You could do this on mobile as well, so don't worry about your device. Let's view a traffic cam. So if I just go previous or next, you can see there's all traffic cams just around the city. That's how I view traffic cams in my videos. Then if I exit it, jump out, go back in, I will have the option to view body cams. Now, nobody's on the server with me, unfortunately, so I may have to put an overlay of myself in a public server. So yeah, you gotta just click on the guy's name and you can view their body cam. I'm watching this guy like severely reckless drive through the city. He is a police officer as well. If he does get out of the car though, you do have the option to switch from body cam to dash cam. You can press Q and E, or go back on the list, to view everyone's body cam. You could also turn off the HUD by pressing this I. And as you can see, the HUD is off. Great for recording, like cinematics. What's going on? These people's body cams are honestly really crazy. Jeez. So, yep, he went out of his car. He got the gun out. Now, if I press this, I can view his dash cam while he's out of the car. Unfortunately, I can't see him because he's, like, taking cover, or he's back in now. Why is there a... Dude, what am I watching? Okay, this is the fun of watching ERLC body cams in public servers. Now he's gone. RIP officer. Jeez, this is crazy. I've never watched any body cams in public servers before. I think it's really entertaining if you do. The next thing we have on our list is game passes. Now behind me you can see the SWAT Bearcat and obviously SWAT gear on, with half of my SWAT gear actually being from the Roblox shop. But ERLC has many game passes to choose from, such as big guns, customization, detective, premium housing, SWAT team, permanent scanner, instant refuel, unlawful upgrades, and FD special operations. Now this video is primarily focused on the police officer / sheriff side of the game, so I definitely think if you guys can pick up some Robux, definitely get the SWAT team game pass. It allows you to become a SWAT officer, and I believe the armor on the SWAT team, or like the SWAT gear that ERLC gives you, they do help you when you're getting shot at. So I believe it's actually a bonus to get that, but I could be wrong. I just assume because a lot of games do it, and why wouldn't they? Plus it's almost $10, so if you do get it, yeah, it's probably going to be worth it. And then you should also get the detective pass and customization pass, because why not? It gives you cool customization, maybe not to get bored, to add some cool stuff to your cars, things like that. If you ever wanted to go on detective missions and, scope the scene out, I think the detective pass is perfect for you. You can sit there in a vehicle that looks like a civilian car and, you can like scope out some criminal scenes. People won't expect you to be there. But honestly, I think this is more of a role play pass, especially if you're just trying to become a police officer. Because nowadays, everyone knows when there's an undercover cop, right? If you're playing in a private server, maybe it's going to be good for you. Public server, not so much. If you do want the customization, though, I'd recommend buying it. The next thing we have on our list is tools and accessories. Now, and when you're a police officer, you want to make sure you're utilizing all of the tools that the game gives you, especially to your advantage, just like this. Now, if a criminal doesn't have a flashlight and I have a flashlight and I'm exploring, an abandoned cave, I think it's definitely a plus if you have a flashlight. You're able to see around much more rather than if the flashlight was off. I mean, it doesn't make too much of a difference. Maybe if I make the time 0, it'll make more of a difference, especially like, walking around with the flashlight. I think it's still much brighter and it still will help you. These aren't the darkest caves, but I think it's still a bonus. I also think if you have it, the drone is a perfect tool to scope scenes out, a perfect tool to help you with surveillance. Not much of an execution tool, I will say, because once you're here, you're stationary and you can't really take on scenes as much as you would. But I think it's still a very good item, especially if you want to become a detective or just scope scenes out for roleplay. So I think it's a good pickup. You do have to be the rank of colonel in order to get it, or you can buy it with Robux. So you might want to make that decision. Now, this one is for roleplays purposes, but you do have all of these tools for roleplays. I think stop sticks could be used in any type of situation, but things like barricades, flares, maybe even cones, beanbag shotgun, a crowd fence, evidence markers. All this stuff can be used for roleplay. If you are a SWAT, I think the battering ram comes in handy if you're breaching a house. Same with like the shield. But other than that, I think most of these items are better for roleplay anyway. I think there's two differences from roleplay officers and standard officers. So let me know which one you guys are in the comments. Are you a standard officer or are you a roleplay officer? Let me know. Now, the final thing, and I cannot stress this enough, is follow your traffic laws. If you're a police officer, you should not be running stop signs and should not be running red lights, especially if you're trying to have a nice patrol. Just follow your traffic laws. Remain a normal vehicle until somebody breaks the law. Then you can fire code 3 and pull them over. But until then, you should always be using your turn signals. Never run a red light. Always stop at stop signs and just be a normal police officer, or else people might not respect you and they might run away from you next time you try to pull them over, which of course isn't good. But it's one thing I do notice in a lot of people's police patrols when I do watch is that they're not following traffic laws and they're not using this stuff to their advantage. I just want to say, if you are a new police officer, make sure to always follow your traffic laws. It will really help. Thank you all so much for watching this guide on how to become a police officer. Maybe you use this guide just to get your knowledge up a bit. I really do hope this video did help some of you. If it did help you, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, and let me know down below how the video helped you, because I did break this up into many aspects. So let me know which one you learned from and which ones you already knew, just for the future, because I want to do some more guides just using my experience. Like I said, I'm not the most experienced, but I do like helping people out. So yeah, if you learned, let me know. And stay tuned for more. We do have an ERLC update this weekend, so make sure to follow or subscribe and turn on your notifications for that. Without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next ERLC video.